What is up, everyone? My name is Chris and Fanzon. You are listening to the Hidden Doors podcast, and in this episode, we're doing a book review on Atomic Habits, the book Atomic Habits. And don't forget, at the end of this video, we do a word of the day, so don't leave early. We get a nice word of the day that you can sprinkle into your conversations and build your vocabulary. And if you enjoy this video and this podcast, then give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date on more videos like this. I hope you guys enjoy. Okay, so we got a book review for the book Atomic Habits. The author is James Clear. It was published in October of 2018. It's 319 pages, and the price is $14 for a Kindle, $16 for a paperback. Okay, so this book has been on Amazon charts for like ever. I don't have the exact stats here, but every time I go to Amazon charts for nonfiction, I see this book in there. So it's a widely well-known book. And James Clear did a very good job. I really enjoyed it. It was an easy read. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what is James talking about? What are atomic habits? Well, James Clear is very big on habits and systems versus being too focused on goal setting. And if anyone knows me or knows this podcast, I talk a lot about goal setting. So in a sense, it's a little bit like one camp versus the other. But there's a deeper meaning to this. We can't just like be surface level here. We have to think deeply about this, and it's important for both. I have a whole podcast on this. Goals or systems, you need both. But I think what James was trying to say here is that you can't be only focused on goals. If goals are the outputs, you need inputs, but the inputs need to be things that you do consistently. And that's habits are things that you do consistently. But if you're too focused on outputs and you're not focused on what are the inputs that drive those outputs, then you tend to have more short-lived kind of goals, as opposed to embodying yourself as, hey, this is the person I am, and these habits are things that I do every day. And so this is generally what it's about. It's about building the systems and the habits that will make you progress in your life and consistently and permanently in your life to reach your vision of who you want to be and reach your goals. One thing James says here is, like, for example, like New Year's resolutions. They're very short-lived. I don't even think people make it through January most of the time. And one statement that he says is, you do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. That's an interesting quote. It's just like anything. In the very beginning, you're amped up. This is me too. You're amped up. You are super enthusiastic. For like 3 weeks, you're ready to go. You're at that gym. You're doing your thing. If this is related to exercising or whatever New Year's resolution you have, you're usually killing it in the first few weeks. Then the dopamine effect of the new thing starts to dwindle a little bit, and then it gets back to your, okay, it's not as exciting as it was anymore in the beginning. And as soon as you have that and you don't feel that excitement and it's too focused on driving up and hitting your goals, then the thing is that you say, okay, this is not fun anymore. I'm going to stop doing it. Whereas habits is, I'm not necessarily extending myself to get this goal, but I'm looking at that goal. I want to get there, but these are the habits that I need to do on a daily basis, consistently, in order for that to become a reality. And these are the habits that um, are easy. I enjoy doing. I'm going to do consistently, month over month over month, and I'll do it for years. And when you have that consistency, that's when you are able to have more stable performance. So, um, so it's all about, this book is about building habits constantly to get 1% better every year. That's a quote he directly says, is you need to get just 1% better. Oh, sorry, 1% better every day. 1% better every day. If you can do that, it will snowball. And by the end of the year, I think the quote is you'll be 37 times better. Um, I don't know how that math actually works out, but I remember that quote exactly. Another thing with habits is what I think is hard to continue them, and this is, I'll read some from some direct quotes here, is that there's a time lag. There's a time lag from when you are doing habits to when you see the results. So you might be a New Year's resolution to exercise, get in shape, and you've been working out maybe for 4 weeks, but the results are almost not even there. You've been working, pumping your heart out, doing some runs, and you're on the elliptical. Who knows what you're doing? You're on the treadmill. And in the first few weeks, you're tired, you're exhausted, you're mentally and physically tired, but you haven't really seen the results as much as you would like. And what James talks about is because there's usually a time lag from all your effort and then the outputs that you see at the end. And I really like the analogy that he puts. He talks about there's a plateau, there's a breakthrough plateau, and the analogy he uses is um, complaining about not achieving success despite working hard is like complaining about an ice cube not melting when you heat it when you heated it from 25 to 31 degrees. Your work was not wasted, it's just being stored. All the actions happen at 32 degrees. So it's basically saying an ice cube isn't melting unless you're putting 32 or higher degrees on it. But all the effort from 25 to 31, that's still the effort that you're putting in. You just didn't see the results till later. That's like the time lag. I really like that metaphor. So build those habits and know they're not going to see the immediate results, but they'll come later with this breakthrough plateau. Aim for the breakthrough plateau. You might not know when it's coming, but it'll come. Um, there, the rest of this book, I think the meat of this book, James talks about how to actually build habits, and it's all based around the 4 steps of habit building. You need a cue, you need to crave it, you need a response, and a reward. Those are the 4 phases of making a good habit, or not intentionally, but building a bad habit. And he talks about how to avoid bad habits as well. So the most, I would say most of this book is broken out into those sections where he talks about how to do those things. So for the cue, first you need a cue to even want to build a habit. You need the crave and response and reward. And how he breaks it down is first you need to make it obvious. That's the cue. You need to make it attractive. That's the craving. You need to make it easy so you can do the habit, and you need to make it satisfying, like the reward. So he gives some good tips on how to build good habits and then stop doing bad habits. I'll give some highlights, but then I will let you read this book because I do book reviews. I don't do the whole book. I don't want to summarize every little section of the book because I want you to read this book. So, 4, making it obvious. He talks a lot about changing your environment. You get a lot of cues from the environment you're in, whether it's like a sight or smell or taste or sound. Sometimes you just need something that's a cue to set your mind in the right frame of mind. So environments are a thing that we can alter. So it's helping our cues. For example, if you go to the supermarket and you fill your kitchen with crappy food, you are filling your mind with cues of just, oh, a cookie. you see a cookie, that thing's going to look delicious and you're going to want to have it. But if you're stuck in your environment only with healthy food, those cues go away. So just think about that as any environment. It doesn't have to just be eating healthy, but make your environment filled with good cues that'll make you want to do the good habits, and remove bad cues from your environment so you don't even think about those bad cues. A highlight for make it attractive is a couple things. Is he talks about doing a ritual before a really difficult habit. There are some people who do some strange or interesting interval. What am I saying? Rituals. So, some in the book he talks about some interesting rituals that you can think about, but I think it just, again, it helps you put yourself in the right frame of mind. So an example is like a ritual might be stretching before a difficult exercise, um, and join a culture of people who are all have the same goals or ambitions. If you surround yourself with 5 people who all don't want to exercise, don't want to read, all they want to do is play video games, smoke weed, and drink beer, that is going to be a community that maybe drags you down a little bit, a lot. But if you're surrounded by people who want to read, want to better themselves, want to exercise, eat healthy, you're now surrounded by a community of people who are going to make this lifestyle more attractive. Okay, 3, make it easy. Make it easy, like a close location. So if you're planning on going to the gym, maybe get some exercise equipment in your house or pick a gym that's very close to you. So this way, when you're going to do your habit, it's easy. The big thing is just, he talks about a lot of this, just make this easy. Don't make habits hard, because the harder they are, the more you're going to say, you know what? I don't want to do this. And then that's just our lazy minds. The harder we make it, the more difficult we're going to find it. Um, and our brains are just going to say, no way. I'd rather do something more easy. So choose like close locations, prime your environment. So if you are going to work out the next day, put those exercise shoes and your workout clothes next to your bed. You're priming your environment, it's building those cues. You're ready to go. You're making it easy when you wake up. And there's a 2-minute rule that James talks about. And it all focuses around, the important thing is to build the routine, don't build perfection. So in the beginning, if you want to do exercising or eating healthy or reading or whatever, maybe don't focus on extreme habits in the beginning. You don't have to read for 2 hours every day. Maybe it's just 2 minutes. Maybe read for 2 minutes. The important thing is the more you repeat, the more repetition that you have, the more you build the habit. The more you build the habit, the more it's in your identity. The more it's in your identity, the more you actually do it because you believe this is who you are as a person. And so in the beginning, all you have to do is really start with 2 minutes. Start with 2 minutes. For example, I want to get back in shape. And so I started doing push-ups and air squats. For people who work out a lot, you might be laughing at me, but I'll just do I did like 20 push-ups in the morning and like 30 air squats in the morning. And I did that for maybe a couple weeks and just build the habit. And now I'm building up to now doing about, let's say, aiming for like 100 push-ups and around 100 squats a day. I just want to build that in. Just building it slowly, but I'm building a habit. So you don't always have to start off with, a perfect habit. Start small, build that into your routine, and then it'll become easier and easier to do more often as it's in your identity. And then you have to make this satisfying. Reward yourself for not missing twice. If you miss twice, that's a habit in and of itself. You don't want to have a habit of missing your good habits. I've heard if you go twice, it is not a good thing. So if you miss once, reward yourself for not missing twice. And give an immediate reward when completing a habit. And don't make these rewards self-negating. I think that might make sense. Is don't negate from the habit, I guess is what I'm saying. If your habit is to eat healthy and you say, okay, I'm going to eat broccoli, then the reward shouldn't be 5 cookies, but some kind of reward that fits in with your vision and your goals and your habit. So you need to have a reward after. That's how the brain, it's like that dopamine driving drug that we're aiming for. When we do something, we have a dopamine effect. We feel happy, and you want to keep doing it. That's how you get a cue next time, and you crave it, and you won't do it, and you get a reward. It's how it's like social media is dragging us down. It's like these rewards that we're getting constantly makes us want to go for more and more social media. So you need a reward yourself. Just don't make it negate the things that you're trying to accomplish. So that is how you build a good habit. It's way more detailed in this book. You make it obvious, you make it attractive, you make it easy, and you make it satisfying. And if you want to avoid a bad habit, you do the same thing but the opposite. You make it invisible, you make it unattractive, you make it difficult, and you make it unsatisfying. So that is essentially the book in a nutshell. Again, I really enjoyed this book. It is a top charts book on Amazon, and it is probably deserved to be there. Really interesting. It's somewhat similar to if anyone has read The Compound Effect. The Compound Effect is somewhat similar. I thought it was going to be exactly the same as Compound Effect, but it's different. This one is more focused on building habits. Compound Effect is, I forget exactly what it's about, but it's not focused only on habits. So that was my initial thinking. It would be the same thing. Similar, but different. These are all about building good habits. So go get yourself a copy. It was a really good read. And now we have the word of the day. The word of the day is gamut. And it's a noun. It means the complete range or scope of something. In a sentence, the whole gamut of human emotion. Some synonyms are range, spectrum, span, scope, area. Go use gamut. Go figure out the gamut of habits that you need to put forward to reach your goals. And I appreciate you all listening. Again, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Give me the thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date on more videos and podcasts like this. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for listening, and take it easy. Bye, everyone.